to go towards what is scary, vulnerable, tender, feels emotionally risky for the sake of being more robust emotionally than you were yesterday. So I'm just wondering, like, I'm just seeing, yeah, you're adjusting your hair, and I'm talking about the ultimate purpose and meaning of life.
How is it like for you? So yesterday you had a group and then you came upstairs and you were like, I had an insight that is going to shift our entire relationship and I'm going to keep it a secret. I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to start like behaving according to the insight. Is that common for people to have that experience? I know that like I can tell when you go to group, often you would come and something will shift after you have your like hour and a half of being in a process group. And we sometimes talk about like how common is it? Like is that the experience for many people that they came into group right after like argument with their mom or like pissed off with their wife or really bad sessions with a patient, and then something shifts in the hour and a half and they come out differently and kind of then in a way that remedies the previous um, bad dynamic.
Right. So I think bare minimum, someone goes to group, they just had a conflict, and let's say bare minimum, they don't even talk about it, but they're in a group, they're distracted from their conflict to some extent. It's sort of maybe bare minimum, it's like watching a TV show or just relaxing or something. I'm talking about, and so they've gotten a little bit of a break and other people are talking about something, talking about their lives or whatever, their relationships. And so, it's at least as good as you're mad with someone and you take a break and you distract yourself in a harmless, benign activity. It's at least that level of effect. If you talk about what's going on, you will get a lot of reactions. There will be people who are, they care about you. Again, bare minimum, at least to the extent that we're part of this shared project of learning about ourselves and growing. And so there's an extension of care and concern and a desire to be helpful and useful to the other people in the group. That's a very, very impersonal level of care, but that's very valuable. You'll at least get that, and that can help a lot. Just feeling like, okay, like going to a doctor, okay, someone is concerned about me. I'm the object of their attention. They're trying to figure out what's wrong. They're trying to help in some way. So that's also a pretty low level, just being part of a group thing that if you talk about what's going on in your life, people will extend this to you. Now, you will also, at least in the groups that I run, in the groups that invite this kind of feedback, you'll get a full range of responses from, I completely get why your mom said this to you, or how your daughter feels, or your friend or your husband or whatever. And also empathetic, supportive, I can completely understand where you are in this. So that's closer to an invaluable, very unique experience. So you don't get that at a support group generally. It's much harder to get that even with an individual therapist because they're just one person. So they might give you different perspectives or whatever, but this you get immediately, and not just thought out. Here's the great difference between a human and an AI. It's not just, well, think of it this way, think of it that way. It's not just cerebral. It's the nervous system reactions. It's just the like, I get what it feels like to be you, or I get what it feels like to be the person that you're in a conflict with. And that's really valuable for helping you relativize what you're in. So you don't feel like I'm the only person in the world suffering with this embarrassing conflict or whatever, because other people get it right away. And also, I'm not suffering with this uniquely bad person because other people get the other person. So there's something also very settling, almost existentially, just from getting the immediate reactions that are varied. Well, here's what I think your kids feel seeing you fight with your wife in this way. Here's how, whatever. And that's just for if you mention it. Now, something that we've talked about a lot is how much do people apply what they've experienced. So what I've just described, I think happens, but then for a lot of people stays compartmentalized, or I don't know, takes a long, long time. I'm the kind of person, and I encourage the people I work with to really seize upon and chew on and try to embody and act on what comes up, what you learn about in group. So for me, whether I'm talking about what's going on in my life or I'm just thinking about it, I'm thinking, how is what's going on in the group applying? How is it similar? How is it different? How does it connect? And then if I am talking about it, I'm in touch with my desire for it to be better, the situation, to suffer less, and that the way that's going to happen is through me being different primarily. I'm not expecting the world to change around me for me. I'm wanting the group to help me change in some way. So that receptivity, I think, goes a long way towards applying what happens in group to the rest of your life. So then I will be inspired by something and I will look for the opportunities to apply it with you and with the other people that I'm interacting with. And I think that's where a lot of people, they don't take that step in the same way. They don't, I don't know why, but it seems like a lot of people will have these experiences in group and they won't then be like, okay, I can't wait to have this argument again because now I have a different thing that I'm going to bring to it. So for them, it's more of osmosis and over time. And for me, it's very common that when I'm struggling with something, I get a lot of support, refreshment, resilience, creativity. At the very least, I'm sort of recharged and ready to get back in the ring. And often I have ideas and perspectives that I didn't have.
So there's something about the intention of showing up in the group and what you're going to take from it that sounds like it's different from you to people that it doesn't happen, that it seems like they're coming back out to interacting with their wife and it's still the same.
Yeah, I think a big part of this is, do you view group and therapy as almost like a punishment for the things that are wrong with you? I mean, it's supposed to help you, but you have to. Is it like eating your vegetables as a kid or taking vitamins or a shot? Like, it's not going to be fun. You have to do it. You know, if you just put in the hours, eventually you'll get better. Hopefully, maybe. Or it a spiritual path, a kind of like what life is about in a way. It's like growing as a person in this way. So if you're the first kind of person and that's your attitude towards group, then you just have so much more resistance and unwillingness every step of the way. So to hearing what's useful in group, to applying it, all of that, I'll drag my feet. I guess, okay, I have to, you know.
Well, I don't think that it would be conscious for anybody. Like it's hard to imagine that people will hear you say it and be like, yeah, I go to therapy because it's like eating my vegetables. Like I
I've
do think,
literally heard people say that in group.
really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But why? They have the idea that they will just show up and it will help their well-being and their mental health and their relationships just
yeah,
by showing up.
yeah. Well, so either their individual therapist or their wife or their
Hmm.
someone said, "Oh, you should join a group." Maybe they're in this intermediate space where they've suffered enough to recognize that they should be getting help, but not enough to feel like their hair is on fire and they want like they're coming in hungry and then leaving eager. There's a lot of inertia, a lot of, I mean, and this is also just the work is people come in and we work with their level of motivation and their interest.
I wonder, like you said, that you've been in groups that people said that as a member or the leader.
Certainly as a member, probably as a leader, but I'm not remembering that as much.
So, what would you do if you do have the member that sits in your group and saying, my husband forced me to be here, said it will be good for me, will be good for our relationship, so here I am.
So the main way we work with resistances in this kind of group is by joining them. So that would be, so I'd say, yeah, I mean, like this is, we're supposed to just fix you. I mean, your husband sent you here and you listened. Why should you have to do anything else? I mean, what kind of lunatic is Jacob over there talking about this being some sort of weird alchemical spiritual path? I mean, who has the time or the energy or whatever for that? I mean, just, you're a busy person. You show up. It takes time. Like, why should you? As an example, the hope is that over time, if their resistances are joined with, allowed, they will outgrow them. That by having positive and negative, but by having interactions with the other members, the need that was unmet that led to that resistance will get resolved.
I think that the heroic attitude, well, say again, one sentence, 5 words. What's the heroic attitude? Do it in 5 words.
Go towards what is scary. But that doesn't quite get it. Maybe that does get it, because that covers it in life and emotionally, psychically.
So you're saying, okay, if I'm showing up in group and what's scary is to share an argument that I just had, then go towards.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And to think about before group starts, while you're in group, and afterwards, what is scary to talk about? What am I avoiding? What do I feel is embarrassing or too weird, too politically incorrect, too just like yucky and weird and perverted, and or just like embarrassing, too needy, too childlike, too
So I
yeah.
think that's the thing that is apparent in the people that you say are coming and feel like I'm just here to log in the hours, because there is no sense of going towards, like, if it would have been scary for them to eat vegetables, if it would have been scary to be on camera with other people, then that's a different story. But I'm just doing it because somebody told me and that's when I'm showing up, that's like kind of numb and passive and the opposite of going towards what's scary.
Yeah, and then in groups like that, or with these members, when it's not disrupted, the moments of intensity and engagement are rare.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you sort of are waiting for it to just happen that you take a risk.
Well, so that's why I'm curious. I was surprised that you say you're joining it, because how will join? I would think that the move would be to try to pull them, kind of lure them a little bit towards what's scary, encouraging them to drop the defense or not. So in whenever you're ready, that's fine. Some people sit in these groups for like 6 months, a year, and don't say anything, and that's totally okay. We each have our own time and own level of comfort, so we'll just wait with you. This is like, it's fine. Have your defenses as long as you need them. When you're doing the exaggerated version, you are saying you are prompting them to drop the defense.
I was thinking about a person I met with yesterday who really wanted to know my thoughts and feelings and reactions in a way that felt incredibly controlling. And I resisted that by doing the analytic thing. Well, why? What would it do for you? What do you imagine? And I was thinking afterwards, it might have been fun to join or be provocative in by saying, yes, finally, a chance to talk about my thoughts and feelings. Well, let me tell you, I have a book's worth of stuff that I've been waiting for someone to pay me to hear my thoughts and feelings about. So, and then to just go off on, the Jodorowsky comic book that I just read and like how that connects to group. I mean, and just like let them be like, okay, I've had enough of your thoughts and feelings. So,
Right,
yeah,
right. I actually think it's really good.
I think it would have been better. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess interesting to try and see what happens. So what would you do if you do this with the person, but they're actually, this is how the 50 minutes continue. They are the defense of you talk about you is not, doesn't just falls off because of it. So they'll be like, oh yeah, no, I never heard of him. Where's he from? What's his name? Let me just, I'll type it in my phone real quick.
Uh huh.
Because you have the thought that you were moving them from one state to the other. As we talked about before, people vary, but on like this side of the spectrum, they're really attached to their state. So they would continue with just pulling more information and getting you to talk about it. They wouldn't even know that you're doing it as like a provocative move.
Mm-hmm. They've out provocative the provocative therapist. Join, rejoin, or all right, that was good talking about that. Now let's sit in silence for a bit and see what the next thing to talk about until the next thing comes up.